All right, so what's up guys? I hope you are happy, well, and safe. I hope you've been out there pounding some dirt and getting some things done. Got a exciting video today. Won't probably be getting through all the details, but I've been promising you guys kind of a syntropic farming, agroforestry planting over here, and kind of talking about that course I took back in Costa Rica. Well, this is a bit of a syntropic agroforestry inspired planting, so big shout out to those guys from Brazil. Especially Tiago, especially Felipe, those guys over at Agroforestry Academy. Absolutely awesome. I actually had a nice live talk with Felipe yesterday. I think we're going to give you guys like a live Q&A here soon. I'll be scheduling that and really getting into the methodologies behind agroforestry, why agroforestry, the planting density. We're going to answer all those questions for you. Like I said, it'll be like a live Q&A. So today I'm out on the back 5 of my property. For all you that don't follow my channel, we're in Central Florida, about 20 miles north of Tampa. I'm on 12 acres, which was originally about 6 acres, and then we got the other 6 acres behind us. So I'm on the back side of the property. We have really good lighting over here. Over on the other side of the property, we grow a lot of things in the understory, the microclimate. So this is a completely south-faced field. It's been pretty much just grass. Actually, when this was originally purchased, my mom had the intention of building a house. That kind of fell through due to some health reasons. So all right, so I had to give the garbage man a chance to kind of go by there. So I'll be putting in the links down below. We're gonna lock down a date here really soon for that live Q&A. Definitely stay tuned for that. If you guys aren't following the Agroforestry Academy, I highly suggest it. It's probably one of the most underrated channels on YouTube. I absolutely love the work those guys are doing, especially when we're talking about agriculture on scale. So what we're installing out here today are actually going to be 7 rows. These rows are 70 foot long, 15-foot spacing. And in between those rows, I'm going to be introducing a panicum grass called Mombasa, very common grass that's used down there in Brazil. And we're actually going to eventually start tractoring some broilers, some chickens kind of through these rows here in the center. I'll probably transition 1 or 2 of those rows in fall for annual vegetables. And yeah, I'm actually going to be putting some irrigation in over here. So not something that we commonly do, but I really want to give this system every chance it has for, you know, the highest level of success. And I know with the little irrigation, you know, yeah, it would thrive on neglect and do well without, but with some irrigation, we could probably kick things up a notch. And what I want to do out here is really kick things up a notch. I want to produce quick growing food. And I'm going to talk to you for a second about the density of the planting and the crops we're going to be putting in. So in those 7 rows, you know, I'm going to have a plant in the ground almost every foot and a half. So, you know, we're using things like mulberry, persimmon, loquat, avocado, Suriname cherry, bananas, japoticaba. I'm even going to be putting some citrus in over here on the north end, kind of in the understory. So for nitrogen fixing species, I'm going to be using Lucana, Albizia lebic, interlobium. We're going to be using some hardwood species like eucalyptus, grevillea. I'm going to be using a lot of quick growing species like moringa, chaya, papaya, even cabbage palm. We're going to be growing some cabbage palm in here to have the benefits of the silica and also to have that swamp cabbage to harvest. So you can see over here on the backside, Mr. Ian's been working on getting those couple of big magnolias out. And those magnolias we removed from a client's house in Tampa when we were putting in a garden. I parked them over here at the farm and, you know, wasn't really sure where they'd end up for the long term. So gonna stick them kind of back over there in the corner somewhere. You know, they are lelopathic. I don't want them anywhere near our growing system. But I am super excited about growing this grass in between the paths, and I guess I should get into a little bit more depth and detail on the grass, the Mombasa grass. It's basically like growing like a Fakahatchee grass, but it's supposed to be even a thicker grass, higher level of carbon, higher level of silica. And the idea with that is, at least in the first couple of years while we're developing the system, that'll be getting cut with the scythe and laid in the beds. So, you know, we're using mulch on this initial install of the system, but long term, the idea is to grow our mulch, you know, right through the path. So we won't need long-term mulch. Everything for the system will be coming right here in the system. All right, so we just got those 2 magnolias out of the ground and I shifted them over there to the other side of the property. And while we were digging up the second one, we found that 1.5 inch main line that was running to this front fence for the hose bib. And my original idea was to just pull off of that line, dig it up and run it that way. But that was really close to the live oak. Long story short, the neighbor was here dumping some mulch. He's like, hey, I got my dingo trencher. I'll come over and run some big trenches because the line is so large. Our little trencher is more suited for like a 1-inch line. He blew in those trenches for us. but we happened to find that one line over here on this back end while we were moving the magnolia, which helped us out a little bit. Tying in right there, we're going to put a couple of hose bibs and then just run our zones into each bed, coming in from that north end instead of the south end like originally planned. You can see here we have the sod cutter out ready to go, and basically what we've done is we've marked our perfectly straight line going down the bed, and we're going to cut a line going down either side of that centered line and taking out 2 sod cutter widths the whole way. I'll take that sod out of there, we'll compost it in the back, and we'll plant still on dead center there, and that'll be the width of our bed. So I think the sod cutter like cuts maybe 14 inches, so no more than a 28-inch wide bed basically we're going to be putting in here for each of these 7 rows. So I'm getting ready to hit the road and get some trees. Figured I'd try to catch you a little bit of this progress. I had the camera here hanging out in the golf cart, so you guys got lucky with this clip. I'm going to try to hit it again at the end of the day, and then I'll catch you again in the morning, so hold tight. All right, what's going on? So day 2 of this Syntropic Agroforestry install. It's about 8 a.m. We've been out here for about an hour, getting out here with the sun. It's still nice and cool this morning. The neighbors' roosters were just going off, and we got most of the first row installed yesterday. You can see here, I still have the inner planting of the taro cassava pineapple to do, but you know, this is a very dense planting, very experimental, something we're trying out here. Like I said, kind of inspired by that Syntropic farming course that we took out in Costa Rica here recently. I'm really loving the blooms on the leucaena. These are absolutely beautiful. Woo! So let's go over what we have in a row here. So this end stake is actually going to be eucalyptus, Suriname cherry, leucaena, mulberry, moringa, upside down banana, grevillea, mulberry, papaya, upside down banana, Albizia lebic, that's not here yet, persimmon, leucaena, papaya, chaya, loquat, cabbage palm, papaya, cabbage palm, loquat, leucaena, little japoticaba, moringa, cold hardy avocado, grevillea, citrus, Albizia lebic, cold hardy avocado, interlobium, citrus, and eucalyptus. So I hope I got that right. I think I'm kind of close. I had to kind of remember that a little bit, but you could see we're actually doing a little bit of hole amending here, something we don't typically do, giving a little bit of extra organic matter for all these trees to ensure some extra success, to say the least. We're top dressing with ash, we're using organic fertilizer, and I'm putting in a micro irrigation system out here. So I'm trying to give this all the tools it needs to really be thriving, not just on neglect, but with some love. So these are those little japoticabas we're installing. This is a Sabra variety. It's probably 2 or 3 year old seedling, and these have been pruned and topped out as a bonsai. I really love these as rootstocks for grafting some of the different varieties. I find that this, this fat little rootstock has a ton of energy to push into that new scion wood. They seem to work really well. I've probably got about 40 or 50 of these pushing right now that I grafted recently. So super excited about these. They are available on the online store. You can see we got a bit of a hump here. I'm going to do some leveling in these paths. I might disc the paths. I might even semi-till the paths to put down that Mombasa seed. Like I said, we're going to put something in here that's a little bit more aggressive, and I don't want it to get out-competed by the bahia that we have out here. We had a big low spot in the yard. That's why you see this extra soil over here, but we've got our zones ran. I need to stub those pipes in, and we put a couple of hose bibs in, one down here on this fence, and then 2 going along the front. So this thing is coming along. All right, I need to get back to pounding dirt. I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of exciting, interesting project. So hold tight, stay tuned. I'll be back. And this hole that's actually getting prepped out right here is going to get the upside down banana corm in it. It's going to go about 1 foot below surface in a pit of organic compost. So really excited about that. I actually recently did some trials in the nursery and in the ground with pups and upside down bananas, kind of some side-by-side comparisons to see which ones push off more pups, which ones look stronger, all the way around. So I'll be kind of sharing those details with you guys here very soon. All right guys, long day. It's 6 o'clock. We're trying to wrap this up. My buddy Joshua is here today, Joshua Anderson with Yield. He does edible landscaping on the East Coast over in the Melbourne area. Actually stays on a property where I made a video a while ago, John Rogers, pretty epic spot where the guy permacultured out the whole block. But He's doing something that we wouldn't typically do here today. He brought that tool with him to help us out. Actually, he heard I was putting in this Syntropic system. He messaged me, he's like, hey bro, can I come help out? I'm like, heck yeah. So drove over this morning from the East Coast. He's giving us a hand, but the only reason we have that tiller out is to actually break that bahia up and cut down that competition as we're overseeding right now. And you can see we're hand seeding in some of that Mombasa. That's my man Calvin. Yo dude, let me get one of them fist pumps. Boop, boop. But so that's a panicum grass, and we're gonna be growing that as the main source of nutrition to the system, to cut that as mulch to put into the system. Kind of excited about that. You guys are gonna see me out here doing experiments with the scythe. Might eventually try to mechanicalize that, but at the scale I'm at here, I think the scythe's gonna cut it. I got irrigation in the first 4 beds. That's all done, running. We've kind of started to put down some mulch. We're still missing some plants here and there, but you guys have to check out this seed. Hold tight. And that's the bag of the Mombasa seed. I got that stuff from my rancher buddy probably about a year ago. When I told him about it, he jumped right on it. He's already doing some trials with it. Let me show you what this stuff looks like. I think it probably has a crazy coating on there. I'm hoping it's not a chemical, because I just stuck my hand in it, right? But it's like a purplish seed. I'm guessing it's some type of coating. I don't want to know actually now that I'm starting to think about it, but so that's the seed that we're putting out throughout all of these beds. It's a smaller seed, as you can see there. And Josh is just doing 1 tilled edge around the outside. And like I said, eventually, not only going to cut this grass and use it as my mulch, main source of nutrition in the system, I'm probably going to tractor some chickens over this. But something I really haven't gotten a depth on is that, you know, this grass in the system is the main part of nutrition in the Syntropic system. They actually feed the grass and the grass feeds the trees. So that's really interesting. We're gonna get more into depth of that as we go. Probably in that Q&A, I can even get in that more. But it's been a long day. I wanna wrap this up. I'm gonna be getting back to it on a Sunday. Hopefully wrap this up. We got a busy week next week. So super psyched. I'll be keeping you guys updated on all the progress of this system. Hold tight. All right, so I want to give you just a little bit more detail on the tree spacing and the tree density, and just the density of the planting in general here. You know, we're going to have main species fruit trees, we're going to have understory fruit trees, we're going to have service trees, and those service trees being our nitrogen fixing trees. But all of our fruit trees are going to be 10 foot apart. So the first tree will start 5 foot off of this pole. The next one will be 10 foot from that. Same thing, kind of following the whole way. And to give you an idea, I have to look at this. I've got a little sketch that I put together last night. No time to put this into a design, but I am going to put this into a design for kind of a long-term working plan. This is just phase 1. If this is really successful, I'm going to do a phase 2, a phase 3. The rows will end up being longer because I have a lot more room over there on that side of the farm to bring the rows out. So like I said, this is kind of very experimental. You know, this is my first time doing anything like this, especially in these structured type lines, especially with the grass, especially with the planting density. And just to give you an idea of planting density, like I said, I have to look down at this. I don't remember exactly. So let's say we have a loquat and an avocado that are spaced 10 foot apart. In between that loquat and that avocado, dead center, so which would be 5 foot away from the other tree, we'll have something like a papaya, a banana. Well, in between that papaya and that banana, we'll have a nitrogen fixing tree, a service tree, and then in between that service tree and that fruit tree, we'll either have a taro, a cassava, or a pineapple. So literally every like 15 inches is going to have a plant. After that first year, that taro, that cassava, that pineapple will probably come out of the system as it matures, but we'll see. Any places we can reintroduce or replant those species back in, we will. So this is really exciting. This is a really dense system. There's lots of plants going in this small space. Really stoked to get this in the ground. And like I said, I'm going to be doing some different stuff out here. I talked in my banana video about planting bananas in the ground upside down. I'm planting the bananas in the ground upside down here. I'm planting the cassava on a special angle so the roots, you know, in that dense planting still have room to develop and come out the side. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on this system. As this system develops, as this system matures, I'll definitely make you another quick video actually after we get it planted. So probably be like a 2-week update, couple month update, 6-month update, production update. Just hold tight. So lots of exciting stuff happened with this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this, you know, quick short video. Like I said, if you're inspired by this video, if you have any questions, I would definitely suggest looking into that Q&A we have coming up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and do so. Most importantly, it's a good time to get out there and pound some dirt.